Right, here we are as requested. Here's my top 5 Pike Lures video. Everybody always likes to know everybody's favourite Pike Lures, and it always seems that when somebody's catching, you always want their lure, and I do the same. So here's my top 5. Now you'll find most of these lures in various sizes and weights, so you can use these on various outfits. When I think about pike, I typically think about bigger lures. Sometimes you'll catch them on smaller lures, and sometimes I have more success using small lures than big lures. However, I enjoy using my big lures, and using big jerk baits and things like that. So when I talk about pike lures, I'm typically talking 50 gram plus, something like that. So first of all, it's used on this setup, which is my BFT Roots 160 gram jerkbait rod. It's a stiff rod, it's a heavy rod, and it's for casting bigger lures. And these lures are, most of them are suited perfectly for it. 50 gram. I've got some lures that are 50 gram metal, slightly on the light side. However, you can still work them okay. You can cast them okay, but you'd want a lighter rod. But my all-round pike rod. When I go piking through winter, this is what I'm using. And I've teamed it with, you've probably seen before, a Kuma Komodo 350 reel. It's a low-profile bait caster, but it's a bigger bait caster, big as your fist virtually. So it's a lot tougher. 80-pound braid on it, 80-pound Power Pro braid that's got, and I've got a 100-pound titanium trace. So it's strong tackle. So don't be really throwing these on your light outfits. Anything below 30 pound, 40 pound, you're going to lose them to snags. If you get lost caught in a snag, you haven't got enough power in your rod and your trace and your line to get them out. But with 80 pound and 100 pound trace, you've got enough power to get them out. So I'm going to start off with a lure that's designed by Savage Gear, and it's designed to catch fish, and it's designed for the less accomplished, less experienced angler to catch fish, because it's a swim bait and it looks like a fish, and it's basically a cast it and retrieve it lure, and as you wind it in, that action is into the lure. So it's the Savage Gear 4-play, and it comes in three types. You've got swim and jerk, which has got no lip on the front, and the swim and jerk basically comes in a bit of an S shape. Steady retrieve, and it'll be a bit of an S shape. You speed it up, it'll go fast, and you pause it, and it'll sort of stop, and it'll turn to one side, and it'll slowly sink. And that's your Savage Gear swim and jerk. The next version is a Savage Gear 4-play lip lure, and you'll see that one has got a small lip on it, and that lip gives it a little bit more of an erratic action, a bit more vibration, and instead of just an S swim, it'll a bit more of a wobble to it, a bit more flash. So I like to use that one. And finally, you've got the Savage Gear Low Rider, and that's got a much bigger diving vein on it. However, don't expect it to go down 20 foot. It's not a deep low. And how I use it, it's got that wiggle again. It's got a good rattle inside these newer versions. And how I use it is I jerk it really hard, and it puts a lot of aggression and a lot of noise and violence into the lure, and it just gets their attention. So if you've had a swim and jerk swimming through and not much action, try switching to that one, an aggressive, fast retrieve, and pause it, bring it in, stop and pause it, and that can trigger the hit. Now you've just seen there it's actually 3 lures. However, I'm classing it as one of my top 5. Those 3 lures. You can buy one or you can buy them all. They're all pretty shallow lures. The swim and jerk will work a couple of feet under the water. The lip lure 4 to 5 foot, and the low rider 6, 7, 8 foot. But you can use them all pretty shallow, to be honest. Keep your rod eye up. Even the low rider, I'll use it in 5 foot of water. I'll lift my rod up and I'll jerk where I lift up, and it puts a lot of action in. Yeah, top lure. I have a 19cm version, comes in smaller versions, so if you've got a lighter pike outfit, you can get the 13cm, that's a great lure, again, exactly the same, and even go even smaller to the 9.5, but when I talk about pike lures, I'm talking 19cm. So my next lure is a Strike Pro Wolf Tail. Yeah, great lure, simple lure, it's just got a hard plastic front. No real rattle, that's just a rig, so there's nothing inside it. And it's got a soft plastic tail on the back which flutters away, 2 trebles. And basically with this one, real slow, steady retrieve. And as you bring it in, it just wobbles like that. Your front wobbles and your tail flutters away. And you only have to do it slow. If you want to, you can put a little bit of a jerk into it, or sorry, a faster retrieve slightly, and slow it down and pause it, let it sink. But we just find steady retrieve. Comes in a few colours. Comes in a few different colours. And it's classed as this one's classed as shallow. So what we've done, you see, I've got one there that's unweighted, and then when I was fishing, I wanted to fish a little bit deeper, so I got a little strip of lead there. You can use lead wire or something like that, a little bit of weight, and just fasten it around your treble hook, and it helps it sink a bit better, gets it down a bit deeper. So whereas I'll use that one and it'll work 2-3 foot under the water, slow retrieve, so great for using in 6 foot deep water. That one, let's say I'm fishing somewhere that's 10 or 12 foot deep, I know that one's going to get down 6 or 7 foot easy on a steady retrieve. Yeah, so I've got 2 different there just by weighting it. You could stick a bit of weight to the front, but I've not done that. It was just done on bank, so it's just got that. Yeah, it's a Strike Pro Wolf Tail. I think it's something like 100 grams around that way, so it's a hefty chunk. And we've been catching a lot of fish on those, so yeah, doing the business for us a minute. Okay, next lure is this Savage Gear 3D hard eel. I used the real eels before, probably a lot of you have got the real eel. This is just a newer, latest version of it, and you've basically got, whereas your 3D eel before were all soft plastic, this section is plastic and that bit is hard plastic. Comes with a spiral screw in there which you can put new tails on, so if you lose a tail you can stick a new replacement tail on. Hard plastic body, got a magnet there to hold that hook in position, and your back hook you can just stick there. You can change hook position if you want to fish it through shallow water or weedier water. You can take the bottom hook off, mount your back hook on top, and it'll fish shallow. You'll notice with these two, I've got this one with a tail curved up, and that will swim through the water in just like that. and it'll swim shallow, and it'll want to stay shallow water. So that's one way of fishing that lure. You see this one, I've got the tail pointed down, and that's going to swim in that way, so that'll fish a bit deeper. And simple straight retrieve. You speed it up if you want, sometimes that provokes a hit, but steady slow retrieve, and that tail just goes away. Bit of rock on the body as well. I haven't got one with me, but it actually comes with a smaller, shorter tail, which is called a provocation tail. So it's probably about that long to get rid of all that bit. And basically what you can do when you can jerk it and twitch it, and it just jerks about, darts about, similar in a little way to a bit of a jerk bait, similar in a little bit of a way to a jerk bait or a pull bait, and it's a different way of fishing it. I must be honest, I've not really used it that way, simply because I've set it up like this, and that's what I use that lure for. Yeah, and there, like I say, they're a big lure, 30 centimetre these lures in total, and I'm not sure the weight, but they're 100 gram plus, so a big lure. They do come in smaller version. I think it's something like 17 centimetre, which is great for a lighter setup, but 17 centimetre is tiny in comparison to this. It's a lot thinner bodied lure, and that's quite a chunky beast. My next lure, and pretty much the reason why I use this rod. I like using jerk baits. So a lot of jerk baits I use will be custom made jerk baits by people like Craig Beverley, Mark Oughton, Dave Greenwood makes some fantastic lures. There's quite a few. American builders make them as well. You've got your Cobbs lures, they're a great lure to use. A lot of them are custom made, and they're expensive, they're £20 plus, but they are quality lures, so worth spending 20 quid on one. However, one of the cheaper lures that I use, which is a bit more easy to get hold of, is Strike Pro Buster Jerks. Where typically your handcrafted jerk baits are made from wood, carved from wood, and these are plastic moulded, they're hollow bodied. They've actually got a rattle inside them as well, which is an extra bonus. So where I might start off with a nice silent jerk bait, like a Matt Holmes custom made jerk bait, nice and silent, just drifting through, gets their attention just by the movement. Great lures. Sometimes that doesn't seem to work, and they need to wake up. So like in winter, for example, your pike are laid up on the bottom. Everybody else seems to fish soft plastics, fishing deep and slow to drift past. I was using Buster Jerks, noisy lure, over 12 foot of water, noisy lure, and I was fishing it 2 foot deep and just twitching it, bang, 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 really fast like that, and pike were just waking up and just come and have a go. They just know there's something that's in distress, and they just think that's an easy meal. So fast jerking like that. So waking them up, like I said, deepest winter, -5 I think it was as well. So still. Typically people think that's a spring, summer lure, but dare to be different, use it differently. So yeah, Buster Jerk. But if you're not sure what a jerk bait is, I will be doing a jerk bait video at some point. Basically a jerk, whereas where all the other lures are just you cast it out and wind it in. This one you've got to put the action in, and that's where your stiff rod comes in. So basically if you wound this in, it would pretty much come straight towards you. It might just do a bit of a wobble like that, and that's as much as you get out of it. That'll work, that'll catch you a fish. Pike are on it, they'll take anything. However, what you do is you tap your rod. So you tap your rod just down a little bit like that, not much, just a little tap like that. So a stiff rod and braid rather than mono. Stiff rod, and what happens is when you tap, it turns that low sideways, and that low turns sideways and it glides. And when you just slight pause, and you tap it again, and it'll turn it again, and it'll bring it this way, and you can just do it nice and steady, do it two or three jerks, tap it side to side, and then just pause it and let it sink, and just tap it again, tap it and get it going. And like I say, even sometimes really fast jerks like that, so it gets darting, and then pause, add a pause into it, because often that pause is when the lure gets hit. Just jerk it again, yeah, plus the jerk, loads of noise in it. Like I say, it's a lot cheaper lure, a lot easier to get started, and it's pretty decent lure to work. Then we come to my last lure, which I would imagine most of you are guessing what it'll be by already. It's a Musky Mania, Squirrely Burt. Burt's coming, it's called Squirrely Burt because it's got this tail. The straight Burt doesn't have a tail, it's a little bit longer and it doesn't have a tail. They work, I just like my tail, simple as that. We're a little bit of a pull bait, or a little bit of a twitch bait, jerk bait, whatever you want to call it. And you've seen in my other videos, if you watch my One Epic Day video, it's just spectacular day. It's a great lure, however a lot of people don't like them because straight out of the box it's basically like they've got no quality control at Musky Mania for some reason. Sometimes come with little problems where they take on water, or they don't work how you want them to. But a little bit of a modification, and they're great. They come in two versions. They come in a weighted and an unweighted version. Now your unweighted version, it'll be really buoyant and it'll sit flat on the water like that, and it needs a lot of weight added to the nose to get it to sit like that. That's how we customise and we modify them to change how they work. The weighted version sort of sits in the water like this when you first get it, and you add a little bit of weight, which you can see in my other videos, and it makes it a little bit more of an angle like that. So an unweighted version, you'd modify and sit like that. A weighted version, you'd sit like that. AD loves his unweighted version, and then he modifies it, adds a big lump of lead to it, and it sits like that. And he can get it really deep. He can get it 15 foot down if he wants to. He can troll it on back of a boat, and it's a great lure. I tend to do a lot of fishing from the bank, so I do mine from the weighted version and add just a little bit of lead there, just a simple epoxy bit there, and that makes it like it. And you basically bust a jerk, squirrel a tail behind it, squirrel a tail on it, rattle inside it, cast it out, let it sink a little bit, jerk it, bump, that noise, jerk it 2 or 3 times, gets it down, pause it. As it's slowly sinking, that tail's slowly fluttering away as it comes down like that. Jerk it again, and just that's all you need to do. And that just grabs so much attention, so much noise, coloured water, at night, everything. It just gets their attention. You can see it's battered, and it's a great lure to have. Another heavy lure, pushing 100 grams, especially when you've got all your lead added to it. So you want a big rod, like I say, my BFT roots, perfect for casting these. But don't be getting these if you've only got a. I get a lot of questions about what rod to have, and a lot of people have typically got, let's say, 10 to 40 gram rods. You're looking at small lures like this in comparison to that. Different size lures. These are your 100 gram plus lures, 100 gram plus rods, and that's what I use for piking. My top 5 lures. So there you go, that's my top 5 lures video. You always want to have more, everybody's lure that they're catching on. They're 5 lures. I often do just take those 5 lures out. One of each, or sometimes 2 of each if I think I'm going to chance of losing one, but one of each of them. I know I'm going to cover most situations with river fishing, bank fishing, shallow ponds and things. If I'm fishing off a boat, I'm going to look at different methods, and I'm going to look for different things. Trolling lures, big soft plastics. However, from bank fishing, what most people do, that's my top 5 lures. And if you've got something similar, or you've already got those 5, stick with them, just use them. Don't get too tied up in changing lures all the time. They do work. Think about your retrieve method, how you're working it, and work those lures and get used to using those lures, and know which ones work in which waters, and that'll catch you more fish. There's no point in choosing a shallow wolf tail if you're fishing 40-foot deep waters, and that's more about it. So get used to using your lures. Know your retrieve speed. Know you're always in contact with your lure. Keep all them things. Plenty. And it's off. Well, I could have done that any better. Anyway, little Jack just took that. Know your retrieve speed. Keep in contact with your lure. And as soon as something hits, one great tip is to set the hooks hard. You've got a big lure. When you're using small lures, so let's say ignore the front of the wolf tail. When you're using small lures and you've just got a little jig head out there, when a pike grabs it, that's all you've got in its mouth. So when you pull, that jig head sticks in. When using big lures, you might have a pike, like that one probably just happened there, that small pike, might have actually grabbed it there, and it's biting on it. Its teeth are digging in, and it's there. And when you pull it, you've got to pull out of its grasp of its jaw. So with a small one, you're going to pull it out of the side of the mouth, and that's why often you'll find that small jigs are hooked just on the side of the mouth. You manage to pull that out. It hasn't really got hold of that small lure's in its mouth. It's not grabbing it, it's actually in its mouth. So you can pull it then through its teeth and set the hook. With a big lure, like these, your pike might be holding it like that. Big grab on it. So you've got to pull hard. So when you set that hook, you set it hard, and that lure is pulled through, and then hopefully them hooks will stick. As you saw there, that jack were on a couple of turns and it were off. So probably I might have got a hook in it, but not quite deep enough. But that's one massive tip for you when you're fishing with bigger lures. That's why you have a big strong rod, big solid rod, and that's why you set the hooks hard. So get out, use your 5 lures, get to know them, have fun, and stick with them. Don't buy every lure on market, because you just confuse yourself. But pick those 5 and you'll catch fish.